I'm here with the infamous, most outspoken man in the cigar industry.
He read my post this morning, right? You do know what infamous means, don't you?
I'm here with the famous, most outspoken.
Because you're famous for being bad. That's what infamous means.
I'm here with Steve Saka. You all know him. uh,
So, what would you like to talk about, sir?
all your new cigars, all one of them.
So this year we're taking a little bit of a different tack. I'm not doing any major brand releases, no real serious core editions. Part of it is because I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous. There's so much new shit at this trade show this year. I mean, it's like everybody has like a bazillion new things, and I just don't know. I don't know where retailers are going to put it all on the shelves, to be honest with you. And so I decided to go with a little bit of a different strategy. I'm basically, this year, I'm doing like 4 different kind of limited production, single unique units. And they're kind of like spaced out every 90 days. And they're supposed to be really quick, easy, interesting things for my retailers and also for the Dunbarton customers, you know, so they have something to look forward to. But I'm not doing any sort of big giant dog and pony. So what we got in that mix is we got the one that's already hit the streets. That's the Bewitched. That's the new Muestra de Saka. It was a blend that I had originally created for the Owl Shop as their 75th anniversary, and I just loved it so much. And what was really cool for me was when I delivered it to Zach at the Owl Shop. It's like, oh fuck, this is good, man. You got to make more of these and sell them. Like, I'm glad you think that way because that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And it's just, and what's really weird about the blend is it's just in the middle. It's so nondescript. It's not like I can say it's really chocolatey or it's really peppery or it's really this or really that. It's just this really super easygoing, flavorful, smooth, creamy, enough notes and flavors to keep you interested, but it's really very almost nondescript. And that's a terrible way to try to sell cigar. I have this really great limited production nondescript cigar, but I mean, it's just tasty. It's just really enjoyable to smoke. And in fact, I like it so much. This is going to be the first Muestra, because all the Muestras are always unique individual ligas, and I make them specifically for that one individual Vitola, one size. It's going to be the first of the entire series that I've made to date where I'm actually going to explore, okay, how does this work in different formats? Can I make it into something more? Because right now I am totally jacked up, addicted to that cigar. I've been smoking so many of them, it's stupid. What else do I got? I got the one we're smoking here. This is the Mickey Rita Black. Mickey Rita Black will be the third addition to the Mickey Rita series. We have the blue, which was the original, and then we have the Turkey Traca, which is a more spicy, peppery one. This is the first one to incorporate Honduran tobacco in it. And the thing with Mickey Rita is, so like all cigar smokers, you go through trends. You know, you fall in love with really heavy cigars. You smoke a lot of mild cigars. Oh, I'm really into sun-grown wrappers. And we all go through these phases where we like get in them for like a couple years and then we kind of drift to something else. The only type of cigar that I personally have consistently smoked for over 3 decades is a Connecticut broadleaf, medium full, earthy, a little bit dirty, a little bit spicy, that kind of genre. And I originally started smoking cigars that were made at the Hatza factory in Cofradía, Honduras. The owner of that factory was Frank Yanesa, cigar tobacco legend. His general manager, on-site guy, was Estela Padron. That was the brother of Jose Orlando Padron. And they made these really cheap Maduro cigars that I just fell in love with. So when I got to Drew, Liga Privada was based on the cigars that Frank and Estella used to make. It was just doing what they did, but just better and not being cheap about it. And God rest their souls. They're amazing cigar makers, but they were cheap. It was just it's the way they approached the cigar market, right? Nothing wrong with it. And look, thank God for me, because I couldn't afford to smoke those cigars if they weren't the price they were back in the late 80s. So for me, when I left Drew, I had to have another Connecticut replacement. and Mi Querida. And I'm not saying it's the same as Liga because it isn't, but it's in that same genre. It's that Connecticut broadleaf.
How would you describe a clean?
I haven't. Liga is the word for blend.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what a Liga is, a recipe. Yeah, you can't own peanut butter. Yeah, but anyways, but no, it is that kind of richer, heavier Connecticut broadleaf with that core earthiness, with that inherent broadleaf sweetness. You know, it's rich, it's strong, but it doesn't chew your head off. It's not super bitey. You know what I mean? And then that's the type of cigar I like to smoke. For me, I wanted to use a very particular Honduran tobacco that they used to grow in northern Honduras at a farm called La Estrella, which has been since defunct. A drug cartel moved into the area, and the owners of those farms eventually abandoned it because they just didn't want to deal with all the drug cartel nonsense. So the seed really hasn't been grown for a very long time. So I started doing a pilot crop. It was about 4 years ago, and it really just kind of, I'm getting closer and closer over the years to the way I remember those cigars from Frank and Estella. You know what I mean? And by having this one particular ingredient that hasn't been around for almost 2 decades, it's really kind of put me there. And I mean, it's somewhere between the blue and the red is probably where I'd put it. But there's just that one particular leaf just adds a little bit of extra depth, a little bit of extra character to the blend. And the answer I'm supposed to say is yes, because everybody's saying that. But no, I'm buying broadleaf off the farm when it's green, and that makes a very big difference. Yeah, we're taking all the curing risk. Yeah, I mean, look, will I ever run a broadleaf? Absolutely. There's no way that you can't. But I've actually, as a company, we're sitting pretty good. I mean, you can see even last year, I mean, a lot of very big companies and small ones had to stop making broadleaf cigars. And here I am. I'm just making more Mi Queridas and Umbagogs, and now I'm going to launch a Mi Querida Black. So I'm in a little bit better position, but I'm in a better position at the moment. Talk to me in 2 years, I may be totally screwed. You know, you just never really know. But I'm excited about Black. Black is going to be a 2023 brand release, but I had enough of the pilot crop still remaining of that particular Honduran, and I didn't want it to be 2 years older than the stuff that's going to ultimately end up in the, because it would have made a blending problem for me. So I decided I'm going to make a limited amount of boxes this year in the one size, the 7.25 by 54. So that way I can use the leaf when it's right for this, and that way I won't have the extra age leaf that I'd have to figure out how to use next year. Well, thank you. And what else? Can't even remember. Oh yeah, we're doing a holiday version of Stillwell Star. Yeah. So well, it's not that there's anything. There's not a specific style. What it is in the whole pipe community. Can you say, is there? Yeah, there's a pipe community, but in the pipe end of the business, people that hand carve pipes, it's a tradition for them to make custom pipes that they sell every year, a holiday release. And the pipe tobacco blender guys, you know, the Sutliffs, the Cornell and Deals, and Peterson, and all those companies, they typically make one blend that they sell around the holidays, and they label it their holiday blend or their seasonal blend. And it's just something that as an industry they do. And because of the way Stillwell Star is and how it's so closely associated with that pipe component, and particularly since I work in conjunction with Cornell and Deal, it just made logical sense to me that why wouldn't I want to follow that tradition in the Stillwell Stars also. So every year the intent is that there will be a holiday release of Stillwell Star, but that's only going to be true if it keeps selling. If the brand doesn't do well, guess what? This may be the last holiday, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like it's doing pretty good. So, I have no clue about that question. I mean, here's what I know. Big picture, it's doing really well. But I have certain retailers that are doing absolutely incredible with it. and I have other retailers that it just doesn't work for them at all. It's really a very mixed bag. So my overall numbers are fantastic, but not every retailer is having that experience. Look, it's a very strange, very unique cigar, and I don't even know who the consumer is for it. Look, I know the cigar you're smoking now. I know that there are guys out there that this cigar is going to work really well for them. I know that when I make Sobre Mesa Brulee, I know there's a consumer. There's never been a consumer that's ever gone to a shop and said, I want a cigar that has a little bit of Oriental Bosma in it and a little bit of Red Virginia that's stoved. And I want a touch of, Perique. That's never come out of anyone's mouth ever, right? So there is no built-in customer for a product like Stillwell Star. It's just totally an island unto itself. So it's really a question of how do consumers ultimately respond to it. And I probably won't know the answer to that for probably another 2 or 3 years before I get a real good feel for whether it's either an absolutely genius idea or one of the dumbest ones I've ever come up with. I don't honestly know, but time will tell, As an industry, since taking the original boom, right, in the 90s, things kind of stabilized. They stabilized after the original boom at about 2000. From 2000 to 2019, we have as an industry sold 315 to 335 million handmade cigars a year. And it's been very, very stable with the exception of 1 year, 2009, the year after the housing bust. It went down to about 275. Last year, as an industry, we imported 465 million cigars. That's such a huge increase. And there was definitely a COVID bump. But look, things are settling out now. People are having to go back to their jobs. They don't have as much free time. They don't have as much free money. So I believe that things are going to slow. Okay, so what we've been experiencing the last 18 months, I don't think is a reflection of where we actually are. Now, what I do believe, though, is a lot of guys who used to try to squeeze 2 cigars in a week, they got used to smoking cigars every day. And now they won't be able to smoke 2 a day or 3 a day because they won't have the time. But they'll probably make a point of trying to smoke a cigar at the end of their night on their back deck, maybe at least 4 or 5 work nights, right? And when the weekend rolls around, they'll probably try to squeeze in 2 or 3 a day. So I think overall sales are going to be better, but it's definitely going to come down from the 465 million units from last year. It's just not possible. And it's going to mean that belts are going to have to get a little tighter. And look, the thing is, even when things go down, so like I said, 2009, right? Market went significantly down. Well, Drew Estate was in a super hot grow phase. So 2009 for us was better than 2008. You know what I mean? So even when the market goes down, you also have little individual companies that end up doing incredibly well. So like, for example, right now we're up about 40% year to date, even though things are slowing down. So, but I don't know where everybody else is, but just logically in my head, I just cannot believe that as a market, we're going to consume 465 million. I hope we do. That would be fantastic. Yeah, because if that happens, I'm getting like a gold-plated toilet, right? With surround sound, right? I want surround sound while I'm doing the deed, but I have a hard time believing that's going to be the case. It just. Oh, yeah. What is good poop music? I'd have to think about that one. I don't even know what would be on that playlist.
I'm sure you'll let us know. Let us know everything and you'll let us know.
I got one other thing.
Yes.
I'm doing a small production batch of Todos Las Dias. I stopped producing Todos Las Dias late spring, early summer 2020 because there's a particular tobacco in it that I was running low on, and I use it in another blend. And the other brand sells way better than Todos Las Dias. So I had to pick which of my children was the prettier, and the other one was. So I ended up putting Todos Las Dias on hiatus. I have personally run out of one of my favorite cigars, which is the Thick Lonsdale in the line. So I have enough tobacco that I can make some of it for me. And I have enough tobacco at this point that if a retailer would like to have some. So the way it's working is we're just taking orders on it, and I'm going to produce it to whatever is ordered. I'm not going to make any extra. So right now the plan is that I'm going to make at least 200 cigars for me And if anybody else buys it, I'll make that much more, up to a certain amount, because I only have a limited amount of tobacco. But if nobody orders it, I'm gonna still make 200 cigars. So I'm just trying to. It'd be nice if I get enough orders that I could keep the pair working on it for about a month, because it'll just make the production really smooth. But we're not really. I don't even know. I don't know if they're pimping it or not pimping it. I don't even know how they're talking about it. It's really just.
It seems like every time when we're doing the video about Really Blue and about the face,
Yeah.
I was looking at all the different.
By the way, this mic's getting heavy. You hold it for a while.
My God, it's right. We actually got this mic because when we did our interview with you at TPE, we couldn't hear a single thing you said because of Drew Estate's music. So we bought this mic just because of your interview, so we can phase all sounds out besides your voice.
And I would say that was probably a good thing that nobody could hear me.
It shredded me pretty hard. That was my first interview doing this ever.
Yeah.
And
Now I'm super honored. I was his first. You only have one first. Oh God. We should end now. It's not going anyplace good. Everything from here on is just downhill.
thank you very much.
Nah, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Let me show you that video.